Hello, everyone, and welcome back for another episode of the Outdoor Adventure Series podcast, where we celebrate individuals and families, businesses, and organizations that seek out and promote the exploration, stewardship, conservation, access, and enjoyment of the outdoors. We are back with the National Marine Sanctuaries and recognize their 50th year of ocean conservation and stewardship. The National Marine Sanctuary System is made up of 15 marine protected areas. Our guest today is Tracy Hajduk, National Education Coordinator for the NOAA Office of National Marine Sanctuaries. Tracy has worked for NOAA for the past 13 years, coordinating national partnerships to help increase ocean and climate literacy and access to the national marine sanctuaries through education. Tracy, it is a pleasure to have you on the Outdoor Adventure Series podcast. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Fantastic. Have to share with you this morning as I was finishing up my prep work for this episode and our interview is as I was kind of creating all the links in my show notes, I actually sent the links to your work, one of the pages on the website, which we'll share later with our listeners. I actually put that up on Facebook because I wanted my nieces and my nephew to say, you got to get your kids to look at this stuff. This is cool. And I think I had shared with you, my brother-in-law's family is from Alpena and obviously Thunder Bay National Marine Sanctuary. And just how cool is that just to get immersed in this, really the much of the great work that you're doing. So thank you.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you are sharing. We are always trying to get the resources out more to people so that they know about them and they can experience them.
Fantastic. Now, obviously, I want to learn more about your work as a national education coordinator, that's the true goal, and the output of what your work is true gold because you're educating and you're providing a vehicle for young kids, adults like me. But let's hear a little bit about your background and how you came to work at NOAA.
Yeah, I actually got my start at the New England Aquarium in Boston, Massachusetts, which I really credit with helping me get into this field. I had I was actually talking with my mother and I was in college and I was like, I wish I could do something at an aquarium. And she kind of paused and looked at me and said, well, try it, like apply for an internship. And it for whatever reason, it just seemed sort of this unattainable thing. And I looked and they had these internship opportunities and I applied, was accepted. And I really kind of think that that was this door that opened that has led me to all of these really amazing things down the way. After the internship, I finished up another semester of college and then got a part-time job there, then a full-time job there, which led me to my next job at Northeastern University's Marine Science Center, also in Boston, which then kind of led me to NOAA and to the Office of National Marine Sanctuaries. So it's this kind of little trickle effect that I don't think would have happened if I hadn't had that kind of one conversation back with my mom back so many, many years ago.
Very cool. And I'm curious, oftentimes with my coaching clients or people when I'm chatting about what their story was, what was that moment of insight for you? Can you recall that when you thought the aquarium? Was there something that happened or just you had a dream? What was that?
I think there's a lot of things. I mean, I'm actually from more inland. I'm from Western Massachusetts. And so we would do a lot of lake vacations, which I loved. And we would do family vacations down to the beach too. And those were always just like the highlight of my year. I would have a months in advance, have a countdown to the hours until we got to the beach. And I remember just kind of thinking, even as a child, like, this is my place. This feels like it draws me in. And I think I kind of just absorbed that as much as I could. There was TV shows, I could ever get to an aquarium, books, and anything that I could kind of read. I naturally found myself being drawn to them. I didn't kind of fall into that career path right away. I didn't really know what I wanted to do because I was also really interested in education and was thinking, do I want to be a teacher or do I want to do science education? But I didn't necessarily want to end up in a lab or doing research. And I thought there wasn't really this in between. And I kept on saying, I wish there was this in between, and find out there is this in between, be kind of this informal science education world. And so I'm glad I I stumbled across it.
Fantastic. Now, your degree, when you went into college, what did you come out of college with?
It took me a long time because my advisor finally says you need to choose a degree because you're otherwise never going to graduate. So, and I was debating again between education and kind of the sciences. So I did settle on ecology and evolutionary biology at the University of Connecticut. And I decided to get a minor in communications, which at the time didn't seem to really make sense. But again, kind of coming back around obviously makes a lot of sense now with the communication part of it. And then later, I was able to also get a master's of education at Northeastern University. And another really helpful thing was actually I did a nonprofit management class, which is like a half master's. And that was really helpful just in terms of kind of the marketing and the communications and the strategic planning and a lot of things that you're doing to kind of move really many jobs forward.
Okay. And when did you first discover NOAA and the work it's doing with the in the net in the this marine sanctuary space?
The first time actually I heard about it was I was in college and I was taking a course, a marine biology course. And I remember someone talking to me saying, "Oh, our professor's been doing some work in Stellwagen." And I was like, I don't know what Stellwagen means." And which was strange because I'm from Massachusetts and it's the
Right.
National Marine Sanctuary off of Boston. And so I remember looking it up and thinking, "Oh, that's really neat." And then when I worked at the aquarium, I kind of did any and every job I could. One of those was to fill in on their whale watch vessels, which at the time the aquarium managed. And so I was crew and would go out to Stellwagen Bank National Marine Sanctuary for my job and see whales, and it was amazing. I mean, just again, I felt like I woke up every day literally saying, if I could pick anything, this is what I would do today, and I
Oh,
got to do that.
very nice. I find it interesting that growing up in your area in the Northeast, Massachusetts, Skowhegan Bay, you didn't even know it existed.
Mhm. Yes,
You
that
know, and
continues to be one of our challenges
yeah.
is trying to bring these places and let people know about them.
And I love that. Like I had alluded to my brother-in-law, his family's from Alpena, where Thunder Bay National Marine Sanctuary is. And as I was interviewing Jeff Gray, and I had, you know, what I often do for my background is I get a picture that's coming off the NOAA website. And by the way, do you know where this picture's from?
I don't actually know.
My God, you don't know. Okay, I'm not gonna hold that against you. I'm
I
not gonna
was gonna,
tell.
I feel like I'll have to look closer.
I will not tell anybody. I will not tell
Okay.
anybody. But I digress. So, the background of my picture was right along this river that exits out into Lake Huron. That's where Thunder Bay is. And I had mentioned my brother-in-law's family worked at the old paper mill, which paper mills are all along the waterway, do bad things to the water. And he had said, it just so happens that the National Marine Sanctuary, our visitor center, and our facilities are right at the old paper mill, which I thought was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
And so what you just shared, I think, kind of made me wonder how many people actually know that in their backyard is this National Marine Sanctuary?
Not enough. And
Yeah.
I think that's a big part of what the whole our everybody in our office is trying to do is we always talk about sanctuaries as like the best of America's ocean and Great Lakes and coastal areas. And it's you know, we want people to know about them, to know that they're there, what they have, the significance of them. I know that they can go there. These are places that are open and you can visit and you can explore or you can learn about them even if you're not able to visit them. There's so many ways you can engage. And so I think that we for sure that is kind of one of our biggest struggles. And we really appreciate again the right with so many of other federal partners. People know about national parks and forests and so on, but there's these amazing ocean places and Great Lakes areas that are just as amazing. And so the more people we can tell that message to, the better.